What's up, YouTube? It's your boy CJ back here today with another video. Today, me and my dad are going to be reviewing Conway's latest album. The name of the album is From a King to a God. This is Conway's third album or EP that he put out this year. The one right before that he put out this year was called Lulu. That was a dope EP as well. That was produced by Alchemist. But this album was pretty good. When it came out, I listened to it the first time. It was cool, and I listened to it the second time. The more I listened to it, I really started to like it. I think Conway really brought out his creativity in this album. There was 14 tracks on this album. Some of my favorite tracks on the album would probably be Doe and Damati, especially the beginning of the Doe and Damati when the beginning of the track. I think Alchemist produced that beat. That beat was dope, and then how it switched up the end, and then at the end of the beat, I'm not too sure who produced it. I think it might have been like Derringer.
Wasn't that two separate tracks, kind of like?
Yeah, same song, but they cut it up. They cut it up in the same track, but it was 14 tracks on this album. He had features from Dej Loaf, Method Man, Lloyd Banks, Havoc, El Camino.
I was happy to hear from Lloyd.
Griselda, yeah.
Almost definitely, I was happy to hear from Lloyd Banks because I was a fan of Lloyd Banks because he was, they was calling him the PLK, and he was always, his voice is like mine. Like, some people got those raspy voice, and sometimes they can say some of the dopest line, but you don't catch it because the voice is just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He has a distinctive
like
voice.
a melodic type of hoarse voice.
But he be spitting.
Oh yeah, he be putting. He's on point.
Right.
It's good to hear from him.
Yeah, this album was really dope, man. I mean, as far as me just going through every single track, it's a great album to ride to. And production wise, it was on point. He had some of the people that produced this album was like Alchemist, Derringer, who usually produces the Griselda's beats. Who else produced? Eric Sermon did on that Forever Dropping Tears joint.
That was fly.
When he was talking about Shay and how he was sad about how his demise, because DJ Shay recently passed away a few weeks ago. But that song was dope as well. How'd you feel about the album? Did you like it?
Yeah, it was dope. I'm really just getting into these guys. I was I always heard of them. And when they were just what they called there's a crew.
Griselda's a crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a crew. And it was just I couldn't get past the biggest dope man in the world. They were just and it was just hard for me to grasp it because I want to listen to the lyricism, which he have in there,
Yeah.
But it's overshadowed by the slanging so much dope, how much dope we gonna slang until you let your pen really start to prevail to come over on these tracks because I want to hear lyrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like he brought lyrics to this thing. I know you're saying about what they do, but
he did. But I'm just saying that's why I haven't gotten to them.
To him like that.
It was kind of like when Jeezy first came out. I couldn't. It was just maybe I was just getting a little older, and I'm getting older, and I just I want to hear lyrics.
Yeah,
I'm a hip hop head all day. Right. And I like to listen to lyrics. You know what I mean? Punchlines, metaphors, double entendres, triple. You have to have a scheme, storytelling. All that, and this album, when I heard it, he seemed like he tells a lot of stories, which is good.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard for people to be a storytellers. You got some of the greats out here, but the album was great. I liked it, and
you like the joint with he had with Method Man.
Yeah, that when I
Lemon.
When I listened to that joint, it seemed like he was on Method's track.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Because Meth bring in that what it was, and From a King, it had to. It was different, you know what I mean, and I liked it. The Lemon, it was called Lemon, right?
Lemon, yeah.
Lemon, right? Yeah, it kind of like a '90s track with a feel.
That's how I feel like most of their music is. You have that '90s feel, but they put their own like new school mix on it.
Well,
that's why.
Go ahead.
No, I said that's why I like when he works with Alchemist brings that feel, and their other producer Derringer, he brings that feel as well, and they make just like really grimy beats. It's like I guess it's
Yeah.
a Buffalo type style. Cause I guess
No,
majority
it's
that's how the Buffalo
actually,
artists are.
yeah, but actually that's what uh, a lot of uh, New York artists was. We used to call it backpack underground rap.
Yeah.
It was like that backpack rap. It was that hard uh, beats and grimy, like the RZA was
Right.
when he first came out. A lot of people couldn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get it.
Right.
And I think now, unfortunately, it's not oversaturated with the 90s, well, the New York feel like it used to be in hip hop. And people now is missing what the elements are. So now you got these guys come out. It's a fresh thing because the South been kicking rump so long
Yeah.
that people's ears was just tuned to the turn up.
Right.
And people has been missing really lyricism.
Yeah, and I think they're starting to bring that back. Like you said earlier, we were talking like they're starting to like shed a light on Buffalo. So I'm glad that like a lot of Buffalo artists, are starting to rise, and get the credit they deserve because they're actually rapping. This is like real rap where they're actually spitting. It's
Yeah.
not like you said, they're just not no turn up music. It's
Yeah.
just straight bars.
Yeah,
And a lot,
yeah.
a lot of people are looking
nothing
for
wrong with turn up. There's nothing wrong with turn up music. That's Atlanta's feel, and Atlanta created that, and that's Atlanta's lane. But the world went Atlanta,
right.
and the world lost the world lost actually the United States went Atlanta, and the United States lost every state lost their own identity of what they rap sound like. Like Chicago, the Bay, and Detroit, they have their own still style right now that's underground.
I still think Texas does as well.
No, I'm sorry. Texas. Yep. Miami.
Yep.
So we still got these certain type of states that still has their sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Detroit got their sound now, and it's pushing.
Yeah.
Our sounds are pushing. We're starting to move around now. People rapping like us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. So I kind of enjoy his lyricism and his MCing. And
Yeah.
I was listening to him, and one of my homeboys was telling me about him. Asked me last time I seen him, he was like, "Yo, you got into him yet?" I was like, "Man, I can't get by past all the Tony Montana shit." So what I did was I started listening to him, and then first my both brother-in-laws put him on me, and then after that, I was listening to him, and I couldn't get by. I just shut it down, and then because it was just so much Scarfaceism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's where they come from. They're just rapping for what they see.
I understand, but I understand that, and I just by me
Yeah.
being
Who you are, you just
who I am now, I think I want to hear something else. I want to hear some. Let me see what your pen game like.
Yeah.
That's all.
And I think he displayed that on this album for
Yeah,
sure.
he did. Unless because I haven't heard the rest of his albums, and now I have to go back
Go back.
and start. And I usually do that. Sometimes.
Yeah, he's been out for He's been out for a while.
A
He's
very
been out
long
for a while,
time,
and he's
but-
starting to get the credit he deserves.
The freestyle game is nice.
Yeah.
But I started seeing them I caught them on the freestyle realm than anything else. Than them being as artists. But back to the album, that was great, man. It was nice. It was nice to hear. I don't want to say something sound familiar to me because my age group, but it was good to hear just grimy beats.
The lyrics, someone who
The
really
lyrics,
appreciates the game.
who appreciate the game, and I think that's why a lot of the 90s MCs is embracing them from the greats all the way down to the ones who used to do it because they wanted something different. But you can't knock Atlanta. Atlanta did what they supposed to do.
Right.
They got the chokehold on the game.
Yeah.
So that's Atlanta's style, and anybody who take it, that's their style.
Yeah, when you think about New York, their sound is different from the New York sound as is right now. Because the New York sound is going towards like we talked about pop. They're doing drill. It's a drill sound. With this part of New York, with Buffalo, they got their own specific style. Like I haven't heard anybody with a similar style out today. With the thing where they're doing. No one's like doing what Griselda is doing or whoever other rappers in Buffalo that's doing. They're the only ones
Yeah.
that got where they're going and doing, and
They
it's
well, they
good.
got the right producers to back
Yeah,
them, and that's
and
what's
then
good too.
it's like everybody. It's weird because I would think they would be more bigger because all of our some of my favorite rappers like Drake, Jay-Z, they all applaud Griselda. A lot of them, Meek Mill, they love Griselda. They listen to their music a lot. And I don't
Right.
think it's like a lot of people don't gravitate to them like that, like they should, be.
Yeah.
I just think they're not underground, but they're that type of
And
level.
that's what the kind of group they remind me of.
Yeah.
Like groups back in the day, they was just underground.
Yeah.
You know, and the guys they special because now, as you start going back and watching them and doing a little research on them, you realize these boys been grinding for years.
Years. Yeah.
And they've been grinding so hard that you didn't even know that they exist.
Yeah. I just got on when I listened to their one of their albums a few years ago. My uncle was telling me about them, and I couldn't like out of the three of on the Griselda, I kind of like Benny a lot, but I'm starting to like Conway a lot. I can't really get down with West Side's voice. It's just a little different to me, but he's dope as well. I listened to some of his albums. One of my favorites, Supreme Blind Tell, it's pretty dope. But as far as like them as a group, I like Benny a lot, and then Conway is like really starting to grow on me. Like I've been going through listening to a lot of his albums and stuff that he released, and he's a really dope artist.
And his speech is getting much better. He must be going through therapy.
Yeah.
Because before, when I first caught him, you could barely
some of
understand
his
him.
words slur, but that's
Right,
like
but
that's
I'm
like
talking
the
about-
beauty
but-
of it,
but
though.
but now you really can understand what he's saying.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, understand what he's saying though.
Yeah. So
It's ill.
looking at the album, like some of my favorite tracks would probably be like let me see. Front Lines is dope. He was talking about some of the injustice that was going on right now.
Right.
What else was dope? I like the song with like Spurs 3 with Benny and Westside.
Okay.
That beat was dope as well. Forever Dropping Tears, like I said before, it was dope how he was, it was sad how he was saying that, Shay passed away, and you can feel his pain on that verse. I mean, on that song, and I believe that's probably the dopest beat on that album, and that's the beat I think Rockwilder and Eric Sermon produced, and that beat, that's a different type of beat right there.
Well, because you got a seasoned person who's doing. Eric Summer's the great when it comes to. He's a great when it comes to doing music.
Producing,
and
yeah.
when you got a guy like that and he's seasoned,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to always be excellence when he whatever he does. So,
Right.
There's nothing I expect less than Eric Sermon.
Yeah.
Mine's I like the From King.
From King, the first
From
song.
King,
Mm-hmm.
it has a feel like a Warriors movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a great intro that he did. And that's what happened to a lot of these guys now. They do albums. They don't do it with the fillers.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do it with the skits. They don't do it with the intros.
They take the feeling of an album out. It's
And
more
see-
like a mixtape than a
and
body
that
of
is
work.
because that's the A&R going,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got a lot of people who design albums.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come out, like the prime example, if you listen to "Get Ready to Die" by Biggie when it first come on, in introduction,
Mm-hmm.
that's just typical hip hop right
Yeah.
there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you got Nas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? It was written, the intros. That's what they were doing back then. They was making your ears like you could sit down,
Mm-hmm.
cover your eyes, and you can vision everything they're saying. That's what another element of hip hop when you start doing albums, you can visualize the lyrics.
Yeah, because especially with this, he's storytelling, so you can
Most
tell
definitely.
and feel exactly what he's going through. What else? What else I like on him? I like the Jesus Christ. That was a really dope beat as well. And then what else? Nothing Less, like the last song on the album. That sounded like a G Unit type song. But it was dope as well.
It was hard to hit the one he did with Alchemist.
Which one?
The one it seems like P should have been on there.
The Doe and Damani? Or the Forever Dropping Tears?
Yeah, Doe and Damani.
Doe and Damani?
That sounded like Prodigy should have been on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, it was a great album. I give it a 10 out of 10. He did a good job on this album. This is one of his best. I feel one of his best projects that he put out so far. I know you haven't listened to so many of his projects, but it's, when you go back and listen, you'll start to respect him more. And
I'm gonna go back on it because I have to. It's only right for me to do that.
Right.
For me to speak on something that I know or don't know, I don't understand it. I have to try to get to understand it, even though it might not be something I like to get into. And now that we're getting into this podcast thing on these reviews, it's taking me to go listen to things that I never did listen to before. So, which is great because
it's putting you on.
It's only right for me to know things. It's not just only the artist that grabs my attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes today's video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications.
Nice watch. Run it. Hands in the air now. Hands in the